Hey guys, Civilord here, back again with another action figure review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Masterverse new Eternia Sy-Klone, or as friend of the channel, Evil Villain likes to call him, Twisty Fuck, which is way more fun to say than his actual name, but for the rest of the video, we'll refer to him as his official name. This guy is, of course, brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel. It is the perfect example of a pretty lame-ass excuse for a character getting a figure that is better than they deserve. And we're going to get into all of that, but first, we're going to cut right to the chase and get into meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Sy-Klone has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a pair of Kung Fu grip hands. He's got the nice, thick wrist pegs. I do prefer these to the small ones. I never had a problem with the small ones, but these ones, they're just more solid, they're tighter, and, you know, that's pretty much it. The hell more do you need to know? We get a couple of, I guess, wind effects here. And these wind effects can either plug into the ports on the side of his arms, or, better yet, they can plug into his trusty shield. It has ports on the side, so you can plug one in, yeah, and one in, yeah, which kind of is a bit of an homage to his 2000X battle ring. Would have preferred he just came with that, but beggars can't be choosers. That is a pretty cool look. And last but not least, he does come with this samurai mask. Looks more like a Mortal Kombat ninja mask, but I digress. But taking a closer look at good old Sy-Klone here. He's got his Smurf mug going on there. Why don't we just see if I can get this on. See how much better that looks? Looks pretty cool. I like that. I think gives him a bit of an Optimus Prime vibe, the visor and stuff. Either way, he's got a nice gold, metallic kind of finish to him. I think it's molded. I don't believe it's painted, so it might have some marbling in there, but I don't really notice anything. He's got the cosmos in his chest there. And another thing, if I lift his arm up and lift up his skirt here, mine, in particular, there's a bit of a chunk missing out of his leg here. That's kind of unsightly, don't you think? I mean, yeah, it's on the quote-unquote inside, but it looks like someone literally took a knife and chipped a piece of his hip off. So I'm going to have to contact the fine folks over at Big the Bad Toy Store, where I picked up my figure, and where I recommend you pick up most of your collectibles and action figures and whatnots, if you're like me and live in an area that doesn't get shit until months later. So I'm getting that shifted back into place, because he has to have those gosh darn drop down hips, right? Looking at articulation, his head is on the swivel. You can look up and down a little bit. It's got a bit of a hinge. You can look up pretty decent and down. I still think they should switch to a double ball peg there. Shoulders can go up as far as his little doodads on his arms will allow. And these are thankfully connected to the biceps, so you can twist those. And it won't break the sculpt, which is very, very nice. He does have full 360 rotation in this shoulder. Double jointed elbow. A little tight, but not too bad. There's the port on the arm, so you can plug in his shield if you want. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. His wrists, of course, can swivel and hinge. His torso is on a diaphragm joint, so you can move forward, back, tilt side to side, rotate, as well as a waist twist that's nice and tight. I guess we'll just use this leg because it's a little looser. He's got those gosh darn drop down hips. This one is a little loose on mine. But I could live with that if his freaking hip didn't look like someone took a bite out of it. Like, the hell are you, 5? His hips can also kick forward and back. This one was very tight on mine. I had to use some heat to loosen it up. That might be why that drop down's a little loose. So that's on me, but the hip was like that when I heated it up. So not sure what's going on there. What are they feeding those people over in them factories, right? He does have a thigh cut. Hopefully something good. They don't pay him much. He's got a double knee, which he gets really good double knee for having that boot, what you call it, that boot cuff there. Of course, has a boot swivel. And he has a hinge in the foot with a rocker. And that's your lot. He also has peg holes at the bottom of the feet if you want to throw him on a stand. And he also has one on his back. If you're like me, you want to display him with his trusty shield here. Again, kind of giving him that battle ring from 2000X, while not quite being the battle ring from 2000X, but I'm okay with that. I think that's cool. For the price point, the basic figure price point, not a deluxe like the snout spout we looked at yesterday or anything, I think you're getting what you're paying for. I think they're doing a really bang-up job with some of these lesser characters, especially, like this guy, and Webstore, Clawful, Whiplash, Too Bad. They're doing really good stuff with this new Eternia line. I just wish that the drop-down hips were never implemented, because other than that one loose drop-down and the weird chunk missing out on my figure, I don't have any problems with this guy. I think he's great. I think he's really, really solid. So with that being said, it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Sy-Klone alongside a couple of other heroic Masters characters. We have a good old Mechanic and Man-at-Arms, aka Dunk the Hunk, for those of you podcasters and Universe fans. I think they look really good together. I think the heroic warriors are finally starting to look a little bussin' in this line. Not as bussin' as the evil warriors, but just a little bit. Get them out of the way. Make room for our two regulars here. The Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, whose sword always seems to pop out of line. It's about my only problem with this figure. His freaking sword is always being a pain in my butt. Of course, we also have the 11th Spawn, who is a little bit taller than a standard Masterverse figure like good old Sy-Klone here. Not towering, but taller. So, with that being said, it is time now that we wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the messed up hip on my figure, because, of course, right? That said, I think I caught it early enough to where the fine folks over at Big and Bad Toy Store, where I picked up my Sy-Klone, will be able to help me with that. So, shout out to them for a quality customer service as always. That said, other than that, this is a pretty solid rendition of a character who has a history of receiving pretty shit releases. So yeah, if you're a fan of good old Sy-Klone here, you're definitely not going to be disappointed, unless you get a messed up hip like I did. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, catch you guys later.